What if I told you that the ability to time travel is not just confined to science fiction, but is a reality, backed by declassified CIA documents? The Gateway Process is a CIA program that dives into the mysteries of human consciousness. It was a detailed guide for out-of-body experiences and intelligence gathering during the Cold War against the Soviet Union. But here's where it gets strange. They used a technique called remote viewing, which was the core of the Gateway Process. It involves perceiving or describing details about a distant or unseen target. The CIA harnessed this extraordinary ability, using it as a tool for intelligence gathering. Think about it. The ability to access information from afar, transcending the limits of space and time. And the best part is that these declassified documents teaches you how to achieve this. So sit back, grab a snack, and watch with an open mind. This is the CIA's Gateway Program. In 1983, Lieutenant Wayne McDonnell handed the CIA a set of documents that would unlock new possibilities for exploring the human mind and its full potential. These documents were revolutionary, attempting to break down the nature of our reality. McDonnell audaciously proposed that we live in a holographic universe, challenging the conventional understanding of reality as a construct of our minds, a paradigm-shifting revelation. This treasure trove of information unveiled a top-secret program known as the Gateway Process. The early 1980s, amidst the tension of the Cold War, saw the U.S. government seeking a potent new weapon against the Soviet Union: mind reading. The Gateway Process aimed not only to gain an edge in intelligence gathering, espionage, and military strategy, but also to explore altered states of consciousness, breaking down the limitations of the human mind. McDonnell, in collaboration with figures like Itzhak Bentov, an American-Israeli scientist, pioneered psychic research that changed our understanding of the human mind. The program extended beyond consciousness exploration. It included remote viewing, a technique enabling individuals to describe distant locations and even travel to other dimensions. By accessing altered states of consciousness, the Gateway Process provided the CIA with a significant advantage in intelligence gathering. The CIA documented numerous successful instances of remote viewing, countering years of denials and dismissals of the program's existence. The roots of the Gateway Process traced back further than the 1980s, originating in the research of Robert Monroe, a consciousness exploration pioneer. His work in the 1950s caught the CIA's attention, especially regarding remote viewing. The Gateway Process built on Monroe's research, incorporating new technologies and techniques. In 2003, the CIA declassified the analysis and assessment of Gateway Process, offering a rare glimpse into consciousness exploration. However, a peculiar occurrence caught the eye of observers. Page 25 dedicated to the Gateway Process was missing. This raised questions about what might be contained in that section. Then, in 2017, the missing page resurfaced from the CIA's archives, holding critical information on the motivations driving the CIA's interest in the Gateway Process and remote viewing. Robert Monroe was a man with an ordinary upbringing. He was born in 1915 in Indiana to a middle-class family. He lived a relatively normal life working in radio and television broadcasting. However, Monroe's life would soon take a dramatic turn that would change his perspective on the nature of reality and the human experience. In the 1950s, Monroe began to experience what he would later describe as unusual sensations during periods of sleep. He found that he was able to leave his body and explore different realms of consciousness. The experience occurred one night. Monroe was lying in bed, drifting off to sleep, when he suddenly felt a strange sensation. It was as if his body was floating, detached from the physical world around him. He felt a sense of weightlessness and freedom that he had never experienced before. As he looked down, he saw his body lying in bed, but he was somehow separate from it. He could see the room around him in vivid detail, and he felt a sense of excitement and wonder at this new perspective on the world. For several minutes, Monroe floated above his body, exploring his surroundings and experiencing these new sensations. Then suddenly he was pulled back into his body, the experience coming to an end as quickly as it had begun. These experiences were so vivid and powerful that Monroe became obsessed with exploring them further. Monroe's out-of-body experiences, OBEs, continued to captivate him, driving him to dive further into the mysteries of the human consciousness. He documented his profound experiences in his book, Journeys Out of the Body. The book's popularity and widespread piqued the interest of the CIA. The CIA was intrigued by Monroe's work because, well, they tend to get interested in everything, especially if it might be useful for them. Monroe's ability to leave the body and explore different consciousness realms seemed like something out of a mystery novel. For the CIA, it wasn't just a weird fascination. It had potential uses for national security. They saw potential applications for his methods in their own research on remote viewing and psychic phenomena. They believed that the ability to leave one's body and explore different realms of consciousness could have significant implications for national security. In the weeks that followed, Monroe had more out-of-body experiences. On more than one occasion, he was able to roll in the air of his bedroom and to view his physical body in bed beside his wife. Alarmed, Monroe consulted a physician friend who examined Monroe and could find nothing wrong. Thinking it might be helpful, he told Monroe that he had read of Hindu adepts who could leave their bodies and fly, and that Monroe ought to try it. Though he did not appreciate the physician's casual attitude, Monroe decided to experiment a little. With each succeeding out-of-body experience, Monroe grew progressively bolder. He no longer feared the experiences, but used them for extensive exploration. Later explaining his experiences, Monroe stated, "Being out of body is a state of consciousness where you are distinct and separate from your physical body. This separateness can be 2 inches or 2,000 miles or more. You can think, act, and perceive in this state, much as you do physically. Now, after many years of living with and exploring, the very least I can be sure of is, it didn't harm me. When I learned of the potentials involved, I became excited and went to work at learning how to control this activity. If this sounds wild or weird or like nonsense, you're about where I was in 1958, and I don't blame you." As Monroe's work gained more recognition and support, he founded the Monroe Institute in 1974. Over the years, Monroe continued to experiment with hemispheric synchronization and different techniques for inducing these altered states of consciousness. He practiced meditation, hypnosis, and other methods. However, it was through his experimentation with binaural beats that Monroe discovered the power of hemisync. Hemisync is short for hemispheric synchronization and is instrumental in achieving a state of consciousness in which the electrical brain patterns of both left and right hemispheres are equal in amplitude and frequency. It does so by combining 2 techniques. The first is frequency following response. A recognized external frequency is introduced by headphones, which causes the brain to try to mimic the same frequency by adjusting its brainwave output. For instance, a resting brain that hears a theta level will shift out of its beta level. The second technique is beat frequency. Contrasting frequencies are introduced to each ear. The brain then chooses to hear the difference between them. A brain receiving 100 Hz through the right ear and 104 Hz through the left can then detect the delta, in this case a 4 Hz frequency. The technique then opens the brain to a variety of frequencies which are played at a virtually subliminal, marginally audible level. With the left brain relaxed and the body in a virtual sleep state, according to the report, the conditions are ideal to promote brainwave outputs of higher and higher amplitude and frequency. When the wave pattern of a consciousness drops below an oscillation frequency of 10 to the power of -33 centimeters per second, for a brief instant it clicks out of space-time and joins infinity. Monroe's theories maintain that if that click-out can achieve continuity, you can begin dialoguing with other dimensions. But little did Robert Monroe know, in the heat of the Cold War, his work unexpectedly aimed to outsmart the Soviets. During the Cold War, the United States was engaged in a fierce rivalry with the Soviet Union, and the CIA was seeking every possible advantage over their rivals. One area of interest for the agency was the exploration of psychic phenomena, including remote viewing and altered states of consciousness. It was during this time that the CIA became aware of the pioneering work of Robert Monroe, who had been exploring the realm of altered states of consciousness for decades. The agency saw the potential applications of Monroe's research in the field of remote viewing and other psychic abilities, and they were eager to work with him. Monroe agreed to work with the agency and became involved in the Gateway Project. In 2003, the CIA declassified a 29-page document called Analysis and Assessment of the Gateway Process, which provides a fascinating glimpse into the agency's investigation of mind control and hypnosis during the Cold War. It mainly focused on OBEs, out-of-body experiences, remote viewing, and overall evolution of consciousness. It's through these techniques that we learn how powerful our consciousness truly is. Gateway is the gateway to the hidden parts of reality that few know exist. The CIA believed that exploring altered states of consciousness could provide them with a strategic advantage in the Cold War. They believed that if they could unlock the full potential of the human mind, they could gain new insights into their rivals' actions and intentions, as well as gain an edge in areas such as intelligence gathering, espionage, and military strategy. At its core, the document is an exploration of the human mind's untapped potential and the possibility of inducing a profound out-of-body experiences that could tune into a higher realm beyond reality. The technique, based on ideas developed by the Monroe Institute, it states that certain exercises can allow the brain to hemisync, whereby brainwaves in the right and left hemispheres synchronize at the same frequency and amplitude. Hemisync, the report states, can be achieved through a series of meditation-like exercises while listening to a set bunch of sound waves, known as the gateway tapes. As per the report, the universe is a complex system of interacting energy fields, in which states are simply variations in energy. Human consciousness is no different. It's just a vibrational pattern of energy. Once hemisync is achieved, the report says, it can trigger an altered state of consciousness, in which the vibration of a person's consciousness is free from physical reality and tunes into this pure energy field. Drawing on ideas of quantum entanglement, the report states it is possible for human consciousness to profoundly alter the universe, since reality is holographic projection. The part encodes the whole. In this understanding of reality, everything is deeply connected in a matrix of interconnected energy vibrations, from your consciousness to the depths of the universe. Think about human consciousness. It's not some mysterious and separate thing. Instead, it's described as a special pattern of vibrations within these energy fields. Just like a song is made up of different musical notes, our consciousness is made up of vibrations within this energy field. Here's where things get really interesting. Hemisync is a state where our consciousness becomes synchronized or in tune with these energy fields, almost like being on the same wavelength. When we achieve this state, something amazing happens. Our consciousness enters an altered state where it's no longer limited by physical reality. It's like stepping into a different dimension. In this state, we can tap into the pure energy field that permeates the universe. It's as if our consciousness becomes free to explore beyond what we normally experience. This consciousness participates in the all-knowing infinite continuum of consciousness, which is a characteristic of energy in the ever-present. Consequently, it is accurate to observe that when a person experiences the out-of-body state, he is, in fact, projecting that eternal spark of consciousness and memory, which constitutes the ultimate source of his identity, to let it play in and learn from dimensions both inside and outside the time-space world, in which his physical component currently enjoys a short period of reality. The gateway process allows human consciousness to transcend the limitations of physical reality and access a vast array of intervening dimensions. As the Declassified CIA report notes, these dimensions lie between the absolute, the one, consciousness, everything, and the material universe that we experience in our day-to-day lives. Through the gateway process, individuals can tune their consciousness to different frequency ranges, similar to adjusting a TV dial. This enables them to perceive completely different channels of reality, offering a glimpse into alternate worlds and dimensions beyond our everyday experience. This is so because in order to attain self-consciousness, the consciousness of the Absolute must project a hologram of itself and then perceive it. That hologram is a mirror image of the Absolute in infinity, still exists outside time and space, but is one step removed from the Absolute and is the actual agent of all creation, all reality, and the eternal thought or concept of self which results from this self-consciousness serves the... Then the article stops and continues to page 26. Since the report's declassification, countless FOIA requests have been filed demanding page 25's release. In every instance, the CIA has denied them ever having it in the first place. But when the missing page was found in 2017, it shocked everyone and confirmed the theories. So it continues from page 24 into page 25, serves the Absolute as the model around which the evolution of time-space revolves to ultimately attain a reflection of and union with him. The page opens with the word absolute. This word holds significant meaning within the report, encompassing spiritual belief systems and quantum physics. What page 25 goes on to say is that physicists define time as a measurement of energy in motion. In this way, time is really a measurement of change. In order for that motion to occur, though, it must be limited inside a larger vibratory pattern. Inside this framework, it is limited, contained at a specific location. That confinement then makes it distinguishable from other locations in space. Uncontained energy is force without limit. Imagine a formless entity speeding through the galaxy with no friction to hold it back from being everywhere. As McDonald puts it, there is no here to differentiate it from there. And this is an absolute state, or the absolute. According to the report, the Absolute is essentially the governing energy of the universe en masse. It powers the universal hologram that is all of entirety. The report makes multiple attempts to visualize this universal hologram or cosmic egg as one big, constantly flowing spiral. Between the reality we know and the Absolute, there are countless intervening dimensions, McDonald writes, which is pretty trippy stuff for a government report. The Absolute is the ceiling, as far as we know it. End of the line, and a hell of a way to start a missing page. The Monroe Institute developed a series of audio recordings called the Gateway Tapes, which are designed to guide individuals through the process of achieving altered states of consciousness. The tapes utilize the hemisync technology, which uses binaural beats to synchronize the brain's hemispheres and induce altered states. The tapes are divided into different levels, with each level building upon the previous one. The first level is called Focus 10, which is a state of deep relaxation and heightened awareness. In this state, individuals are able to access their subconscious mind and explore their own consciousness. As individuals progress through the different levels, they are able to access deeper levels of consciousness, including Focus 12, which is a state of expanded awareness and access to non-physical dimensions. In this state, individuals are able to explore the realm of the unconscious mind and connect with higher levels of consciousness. Focus 15. Focus 15 is a state of no time and no space. It involves a release of the individual's consciousness from the constraints of linear time and physical reality. In this state, individuals can experience a sense of timelessness and tap into a deeper understanding of the nature of reality. Focus 15 is often associated with accessing the collective consciousness and exploring interconnections beyond individual existence. Focus 21. Focus 21 is characterized by expanded awareness and enhanced intuition. In this state, individuals can connect with information and energies beyond their immediate surroundings. It allows for exploration of different realms of consciousness and facilitates the development of psychic abilities and intuitive insights. Focus 22. Focus 22 involves an exploration of dimensions beyond the physical reality. In this state, individuals can encounter non-physical entities, spiritual guides, or energies from other realms. Focus 22 provides an opportunity for individuals to connect with higher intelligence and expand their understanding of the universe and their place within it. The Gateway Tape series extends beyond Focus 22, offering further levels of consciousness exploration. These levels are designed to assist individuals in deepening their understanding of consciousness, expanding their spiritual awareness, and connecting with higher levels of existence. The tapes are designed to be used in a quiet and comfortable environment, with individuals wearing headphones to listen to the binaural beats. The tapes guide individuals through a series of relaxation exercises and visualization techniques, helping them to achieve the desired altered state of consciousness. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Gateway project was its use of remote viewing. Remote viewing is a technique that allows individuals to perceive and describe distant locations or events, even when they are not physically present at the location. The CIA Remote Viewing Manual describes a cross between astral projection, lucid dreaming, and a voluntary out-of-body experience. Essentially, remote viewing is about entering a state of meditative clairvoyance to retrieve real-time information about a distant location or target, using intent as a map in the astral body, or soul as a vehicle. Travelers claim they're able to explore any location they desire. Consequently, they claim to be able to view otherwise impossible things. In one well-known example of remote viewing, the CIA used the technique to gather intelligence on a potential enemy military base. Remote viewers were given only the coordinates of the base, and they were asked to describe what they saw. One notable example of remote viewing involving a military target is the case of Pat Price. The CIA tasked Price with remote viewing a Soviet research facility at Semipalatinsk, USSR. The goal was to determine the utility of remote viewing under operational conditions, and this is how it went. The CIA provided geographical coordinates, latitude and longitude, of the Soviet site, Semipalatinsk, and specified it as a research and development test facility. Pat Price, the remote viewer, was given the coordinates and the target designation without knowing any additional information about the site. Price then conducted a remote viewing experiment and provided details about the building layout and specific features like a multi-story gantry crane. The results of Phase 1, obtained on a double-blind basis, were turned over to client representatives for evaluation. The experiment continued to Phase 2, where client representatives introduced themselves to Price, and further experiments were conducted on the Semipalatinsk site. This phase aimed to generate physical data independently verifiable by other client sources. The experiment evolved into Phase 3, where unverifiable data concerning the Semipalatinsk site but of operational interest was generated. This included additional details not available to the client. The data describing the Semipalatinsk site were evaluated by the CIA, and while there was noise along with the signal, several details concerning the technology and large structural elements of the site appeared to align with data from other sources. These results were far beyond what would be expected by chance. The coolest part is that remote viewing is not just some unattainable ability reserved for the elite. It's a power that lies within all of us, waiting to be unlocked. And this is how. Remote viewing target selection. To begin, the assistant pre-selects an image of a geographical location. Crucially, they must ensure the image remains unknown to the viewer. Meanwhile, the CIA would send an operative or beacon to the target location. The remote viewer would then attempt to observe their presence and describe their actions. If you wish to do this, then unless you have CIA resources, it's probably best to keep your targets local. Remote viewing preparation. This is the time to quiet your mind and filter out mental chatter. The idea is to fall into the altered state needed for the astral body to strap on its wings. The CIA gave their psychic spies waterbeds and relaxation tapes to enhance this process. After confirming their readiness to the assistant, the viewer sets off. When they feel they've arrived, the viewer begins by describing primary impressions of the location, event, or person to the assistant. Firstly, the viewer attempts to describe faint outlines and features, such as environment and terrain. Secondly, the viewer tries more specific descriptions. Is the site natural or artificial? Is it near a body of water? Viewers are encouraged to record sensory information or dimensionals. For example, sizes, shapes, smells, tastes, and temperatures. Subsequently, the viewer relates their experience to the assistant. The assistant then cross-references the remotely gathered data against factual, real-world information. If there was a beacon assisting in the outside world, a discussion will follow. After that, you'll discover whether the experiment was just a fun way to pass the time, or whether you have genuine psychic abilities. The Declassified Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process Manual, released by the CIA in the early 2000s, provided the public with a rare glimpse into the secretive realm of consciousness exploration and psychic phenomena. The manual detailed various techniques and technologies employed in the Gateway Project, including binaural beats, guided meditation, and remote viewing. Robert Monroe's dedicated exploration of altered states of consciousness has led to invaluable discoveries. His research delved into the depths of human awareness, offering practical techniques that unveil the immense power and boundless wonder awaiting those who venture beyond the veil of the unknown. I appreciate your support on this fascinating journey. If you haven't already, subscribing and hitting the like button would mean a lot. Sharing this mysterious adventure with your friends makes a significant difference, aiding me in bringing more compelling content to you. I hope today's exploration has opened your mind and encouraged you to conduct your own research into the mysteries awaiting discovery. Thank you once again for watching, and until next time, remember to always seek the truth.